Hello YouTube friends, thanks so much for coming by and welcome to another episode of the Untamed Olive. Today we are doing a vegan hack. I'm going to show you how to make the most satisfying and crunchy and delicious fried chicken sandwich out of jackfruit. If you want to see how, keep on watching. Okay guys, the star of our fried chicken sandwich hack is this jackfruit here. It's a can of young jackfruit. I just got it at our little natural grocery store in town. It's becoming more popular, so I think you can probably even find it in a regular grocery store now. As you can see, that little seed, those are hidden in between these little fibrous bits. So I'm just squeezing them to get out the moisture and to break them up into little bite-sized pieces. And I'm also squeezing anywhere where I think there still may be a seed, woo, like right there. And I'm putting it into a separate bowl, and we're going to season them as soon as I get them all squeezed out here. And then we're just going to salt this a little bit with some Himalayan pink sea salt that I've got. It's going to help draw out the moisture, give it a little bit of flavor. I'm going to transfer it back to this colander so it can keep dripping, and then try to break them up even more. So we've got kind of like pulled roasted chicken sized bits here. I'm just going to put that aside while I get all of our other ingredients going on. Okay, now I'm going to get our little dredging station going here. I'm going to make some vegan buttermilk. It's super simple. This is used in a lot of vegan baking as well. You just add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar to non-dairy milk. I've got a cup of soy milk here, and it kind of like thickens and coagulates like a buttermilk would be and reacts in the same kind of matter. And then I've got a cup of gluten-free flour here. You can obviously use all-purpose. And then I've got white pepper, thyme, roasted red pepper flakes, garlic, pink sea salt, and cornstarch. I will leave all the amounts below. I'm just going to whisk that into the flour, and that's going to give our chicken breast crust a really nice flavor. Speaking of chicken crust, what we're using is rice paper here. So I've just got some warm water in this plate, and I'm going to let our rice paper soak until it's just starting to soften. And then we're going to wrap it around our jackfruit. The can of jackfruit will make 2 good-sized patties. So I'm going to take half the jackfruit and place it right in the middle of that rice paper as soon as it's softened a bit. And it hopefully wasn't super obvious until this very moment that I am one-handedly doing this today. I left my tripod at my mom's in Salt Lake. So we are one-handedly wrapping up our little chicken cutlet here and just kind of folding it like a burrito. The rice paper gets quite sticky when it's moistened, so it sticks on itself pretty easily. So I'm just wrapping it into a patty shape. And as you can see, our buttermilk has gotten quite thick. So I'm going to start in the flour and then dunk into the buttermilk and go back and forth twice to get a really nice crust on there. If it wasn't obvious in the beginning, this is clearly not a crazy healthy recipe. This is total vegan comfort food, but it's the holidays and it was just my birthday and I wanted to make something really fun and delicious, and I've never tried to do this before. So not for the faint of heart, but I think as a every once in a while treat, this is going to be killer. Okay, so both of our little patties here are just about there. Once we've got them totally dredged, I'm going to let them just chill out on the plate here while our oil heats up. If you let it rest for about 5 minutes or so, all the breading is going to really adhere really nicely to that rice paper, and it won't just fry right off when you throw it in the oil. So I'm going to let them rest, and I'm kind of just pan frying them. You can obviously throw them in a deep fryer, but I don't have a deep fryer, and for whatever reason, that kind of made me feel better about not using as much oil, although they're like deep fried. There's no way around it for sure. So I've got my frying pan about half full of vegetable oil, and I've got it on medium heat here. You'll see at some point there's the chicken cutlets ready to go, jackfruit cutlets really. So that's our pan. It's a little less than half full, but I am just getting these guys in there once it's nice and hot. I tested the oil with a bit of the flour mixture and it bubbled, so I knew I was ready. You want it close to 325 degrees. Now I'm checking them at about 2 or 3 minutes. I believe these were frying for about 5.5 to 6 minutes before they were brown enough to flip. And you can really feel that rice paper. It gets nice and crusty and crispy and hard, so that's how I also know it's done. So about 5.5 to 6 minutes on each side, and then since they're so thick, I'm going to rotate them onto their side so every edge gets that really golden brown, crispy, skin-like texture. And look at those crispy beauties there. You can eat them on their own, or you can make a sandwich, which is what I decided to do. I've got some veganaise here that I've spread on some Ezekiel bread. You can use a bun too. I'm just attempting to be a little bit more, get some fiber in here. And then instead of using pickles, like Popeyes chicken sandwich does, I opted for some dill and garlic raw sauerkraut to get, if you're gonna eat a giant fried jackfruit chicken sandwich, you may as well get some probiotics in there. And this sauerkraut is actually one of the best sauerkrauts I've ever had. So I'm just layering our little patty, or giant, not little, or giant patty on top. And then I've got another piece of toasted bread with a good amount of veganaise on top. Sandwich it together. And there you have it, folks. And just so you can see how this patty looks with the skin and the jackfruit meat, I'm just going to pull it apart so you can see how delicious it looks here as well. Ooh, I cannot wait to give this a try. Okay guys, I have just broken off a little piece of the chicken that we made. This is just on its own to give it a try. As you can see, that rice paper really made kind of like a crunchy skin. This is really good. It's salty and crunchy and not to be weird, but it's like what I remember chicken skin being like. Crusty and delicious. Okay guys, moving on to our sandwich portion of this video. We've got our toasted Ezekiel bread and vegan mayo, our dill and garlic sauerkraut, and our, of course, jackfruit chicken breast. I broke off a little piece here because we're going one-handed today. So let's see how this combo works. Guys, it's so good. The textures are awesome. The jackfruit has a little bit of a zing to it, so it evens out all the flavors of the garlic and dill, the savory flavors in the breading that we added, the crunchiness of the rice paper skin. If you are looking for something to satisfy a meaty, fried, salty, yummy texture, that was a really long sentence, you should give this recipe a try. I promise it will not disappoint. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful December, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.